Okay, okay. Well, let's see. Give it a second. I am live. Good. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah. So I kind of ended things a little abruptly. And I didn't actually plan on ending it there, but uh, she needed attention, I guess. So I am back. Kind of right where I left off. I kind of finished watching that little tail end of the video because he just kind of basically explained. I was literally at the end. Um, I think we were literally like right
So
here.
now every time I look at my block, it's going to show the message. I look away and look back, it should show it again. Again, only once. And there we go, we've got an interaction system in our game. Now the second half of this is creating the item data component. This component will be applied to our items to tell them what item they should belong to based upon their item data table. You can watch that next episode right now over on
Okay.
patreon.com/Ryan.
So the next episode is going to be about the item data table thing. Now, I actually was going through the chat, and people were talking about how to make it third person. In particular, this one. For anyone trying to interact in third person, here was my solution. I replaced Get Player Camera Manager with Get Player Character in the Inventory System Blueprint Interaction Trace section. Also changed radius to 90 for sphere trace by channel. I wanted first person and third person capabilities, so I copied over the interaction system again. So I had two versions, one with camera manager set with radius of 15, and another section with get player character with the radius of 90. These are both controlled via a branch. The branch condition was whether my player character was in first person mode or not. This was a variable I had set in my player blueprint. To get the condition of this variable, add another get player character, then from return value drag off, and then cast to character BP name. Then from the bubble says as character BP name, drag off and get state of variable you created in the character BP. Now this wasn't what I needed. It was just this section here, the how to do it in third person, is what I found very fascinating to me. Um, Now the only thing is I don't know if I want to switch things up yet. But it's such a small change, but it could end up avalanching like way out. And I don't know if that's going to harm the project. But I think so. It wasn't get player camera manager, but I think for the sake of this video, I think for the sake of having it, I think what I'm going to do get player character. Okay, get player character. So all he did was switch these. Okay. He said it wasn't perfect, but it. And what we'll do is, for the sake of following the tutorial, I'll set that up. He said the other thing he changed was the radius from 15 to 90. Okay, so we're gonna compile and save. Go back in the third person and see how that. Oh, that works a little too well. Okay, so it's not based off of my camera. It's based off of where the character's looking. So I have to have my character look at the thing. I wonder if there's a way I can. Yeah, see, because when I look at it, it doesn't do anything. When my character looks at it, is when it detects it. I don't know if that's what I'm after, to be honest. Actually, it's not too bad. Now I think about it, it's not too bad. You can say here, press E, and then move. That way I can look at it without needing the prompt, but as soon as my character sees it, okay, actually that's not the worst. It's not the worst. I'm kind of happy with it. Oh yeah, it's actually kind of nice. The more I'm like doing it, the more I'm like, actually, it could work quite well. Could work quite well. We're gonna save. I'm very happy with that small change. That was excellent on his part. And now we're gonna look into the item data. Now, in terms of item data, I think it's really incredibly important. But I don't think we're gonna use it in the same manner that I think he wants. But we want to follow to make sure I'm
Hello and
learning.
welcome back to our inventory system series. In episode 3, we'll be going over the second half of our interaction system, which is the item data component. This component allows us to tell the items which item they are from our item data and pull information from that data table, allowing them to display themselves with the correct name, correct icons, and so forth. So let's jump straight in. Okay, so now we've got an interaction system in our game. We now need to be able to pick up items and interact with them. Now, what we have the issue with now doing is how do we replicate this on multiplayer, as well as making it so we can easily set up which item is what item based on the data table. So here we make use of a different component, and that's going to be the item to add component. So let's go in, create our new component in our content browser, blueprint class, and choose actor component. And this
Okay, creating an actor component. Now he said something really interesting about. So we're gonna go back to my stuff inventory. We're back on this system. We're gonna make a blueprint. Blueprint macro library, blueprint interface, blueprint function library, blueprint class. Oh gosh, hold on. Did I miss something? We're gonna go back for a second.
blueprint class and choose actor component.
Blueprint class actor component. Okay. Blueprint class actor component. Actor component. Okay.
And this we're going to call is item component, or item data, we'll call it item data.
Okay. Like I said, I like to just follow along, man. I like to just follow along. I'm not a big rename item data.
Component. And in
Oh, I am kind of jumping ship a little too quick, huh? So it's F2 to rename item data component. Okay.
that item data component, it'll be quite a simple setup really. But we're going to have in its first variable the item data, item ID, that's more accurate. And this is going to be a data table row handle. Now, what this means, it allows us
Data table row handle. So he's about to explain it, but let me make sure I'm following so I'm not like getting behind. So we're gonna close test item. I don't think we need test item right now. BP inventory system will keep open. Um, Open full blueprint editor, please. Okay. He added a variable. He called it item data, item ID, item ID, and then instead of a boolean, it was item data row. Item data row. Okay, so let me just make sure that item table row. I think I'm item table row. So
To easily select. Now, what this means, it allows us to easily select.
am I? Why am I? Why do I keep doing item? If it's data table row handle. There it is. Why am I making so many mistakes?
Which item from our data table to show. More on that in a moment. We also need to know how much of this item exists on this component here too. So we'll do a quantity on this as well.
Okay. Quantity.
And that's going to be an integer, whole number.
Okay, simple enough. Simple enough.
Okay. Right, so we need those there, and we'll make these also editable. So we're going to tick editable, both of those, and then we're going to.
What? Hold on. What do you mean by editable? A variable is not public and will not be editable on an instance of this blueprint. So, okay, I see. So we're just opening the eyes.
To close that there, go to our test item.
Fuck. Okay, never mind. We're still using the test item. Pile. We're gonna close. We're gonna open items. Test item. Okay.
Here, and I'm going to add that item data.
Hold up. Hold on. So I have the cube. Default. So it's not the data table row, it's the item ID, right?
Component. Right, so in order.
Okay, no, it's just the whole function. It's the blueprint function. Item, uh, item, data component, custom blueprint, class.
In order to add item data to this, we actually need some item data itself. So we're going to go to our content drawer, go to our item data data table, and we're going to add in our first item.
Okay. So we're going to the item data table. Okay, so go back to my stuff, inventory, item data. So we are now caught up. Just put that up here for the moment. Okay.
Now, when you first click add at top here, you're going to see a blank row appear.
Yes.
And down here, you should see the option to add details. So in here, we're going to call this first one Apple.
Okay, Apple. For the sake of the video, I'll follow along. So we're gonna hit add down here, and this is the description information, and he's putting in Apple for the name.
Description. a juicy looking red apple.
Okay, I mean, sure, why not? A juicy looking red apple.
To brighten up anyone's day. Okay. And then we've got a thumbnail.
Okay. To brighten up anyone's day. That's an incorrect use here, but whatever, man. I didn't anticipate he was going to do that. We're going to hit save just for the sake of...
This is an image we want to use. So to help me with this, I'm going to go over and add an image from a website in particular. Let's go over to gameicons.net.
GameIcons.net. Why did I go on full screen? Hold on. That's not what I want, I don't think.
Just search for game icons in Google. Go to game icons.
That's why. Okay. This one.
Icons.net, and you've got some loads of free uses of ones here.
Huh.
Obviously, you can use any icons you like. If you've got some already, by all means, use them. I'm going to type in Apple, and you'll see shiny Apple appears here. And that'll do lovely. I just have that and download that as a PNG. Yes. So I'm going to drag that into our... Download that as a PNG. Yes. So I'm going to drag that into our content browser. And I usually put these in a separate folder. Items. We'll make a new folder here for icons.
Okay. I'm making something. I just drag and drop? Oh my god, I can. That's so cool. That's so cool. That's so cool.
And we'll put that in there. Okay. Let's just rename it so it's a bit easier to find. So Apple underscore T. Or
Okay. F2. Apple underscore T. Save.
texture. Okay. Right. So if we go back to our data table, we can now search for that in our thumbnail. Apple underscore T. And
That's nuts, dude. That's actually so easy. I'm gonna save.
the item class at the moment is just going to be nothing. We'll leave it as none. A stack size we'll put in as, say, I don't know, 10. Or whatever.
So you can have 10 max? Is that what that means? So save.
Okay.
Or it comes 10 at a
We can
time.
change these at any point later on too. Now the main thing that is important in here is the row name. You'll see the row name here is the first column in our data table. This is a unique ID identifier for our items. Okay, and keyword being the uniqueness of it. So if we double click on that, we can type in any ID we like. These could be numbers, letters, whatever you want. For simplicity, I'm just going to type in Apple.
Okay, for simplicity's sake, we're gonna follow along. But I guess it has to be unique.
Hit save. Now, the beauty of what we're doing here is that on my test item, on the item data component, I can go over to my item ID, and my data table here, I can choose from none to my item data, and the row name will now show Apple as an option.
Item data. That's so fucking cool, bro. That's so fucking cool, dog.
And there you go. Now, one thing to note is, well, if you want to make this really much easier for you in the long term, if you're adding loads of items, there's some default behavior we can set up here on our item component. So let's go over to our item data component, click on the item ID, expand this open, and change the default data table already to the item data.
Oh, that way you don't have to go through that legwork every single time, right? Is that what he's saying? So we're gonna open that blueprint. Item data component, item ID, and it's gonna be item data, then compile and save. So every single time it just comes up like that, and I just choose individually what the item would
It's not
be.
going to be anything different, so just leave it as that. And the quantity by default is going to be 1. You're never going to be adding just 0. So we'll default it to 1.
Okay. Quantity. I mean, that makes sense because it just means it. Okay.
And that'll just save us a bit of time setting up each of these item data components for different items.
I think the only problem with that is that you're still having to go through the same system, but instead of doing two menus, you're only doing one. I don't know if it saves that much time. It's more like an ease of use.
Okay, compile and save that one, and there we go. Right, so I need to return back from here the message about what item this thing actually is. So we're going to get that from our data table over here.
Okay.
So let's go to our look at message, and we'll see return node saying pick up test item. We'll make that change that based upon our item data. So we're going to do break out our item data component, and then from there get item ID and split that open. And you need to split it because you need to get access to the data table and the row name.
Okay.
And what you can do with the data table is get a singular row by doing get row, and you'll see get data table row. Plug that in, and the row name will come from the same location here. And we now have row found, and yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's go back a second. Okay, he did quite a lot very quickly. He did quite a lot very quickly. Let's see if I can mess. So it was BP inventory system. No, is he in test item right now? Okay, he is on the test item. Okay, so he's at test item. Look at. He moved this back, and then he made was it cast 2? There was a data component. Oh fuck, no, that's not right. I already somehow add item data component. That don't look right either. Wait, how did I, dude, fuck, dude, how am I like this retarded?
We're going to do break out our item data component.
Oh my god, dude, I fucking hate. He drag and dropped it.
And then from there get item ID.
and then he splits, and that's what opens up. Okay, get item ID, and then we will split struct pin, which goes both item data row. Okay, and he did one more thing. He did one more thing.
And split that open. You need
Yes.
to split it because you need to get access to the data table and the row name.
Right.
And what you can do with the data table is get a singular row by doing get row, and you'll see get data table row.
So it gives
That
him
in.
access to the data table row. Okay. So when you're looking at it, you're not. So what? So let me see if I can understand why. So when he looks at the object, it looks at the data table row, which these systems is basically identifies what the item is. I think is how that's designed. Data table row. Okay. And it was data table here, item row name here. Oh, so he basically set it up so that the data component, which has all the data, goes to that. So why would we, it feels so complicated. It feels so complicated.
And the row name will come from the same location here. And we now have row found, row not found, and out row. Now, because we're using a unknown variable of the data table here, this out row won't automatically change to match the type. So you have to do that for itself. So for it yourself. So let's take out from out row here and do break item struct. And now we're going to get
Break f item struct. Okay.
all this information about our item.
Right.
And in particular, I want the name here.
He didn't. I mean, he's doing all sorts of funky stuff.
So on the message here, we're going to drag this out and do format text. And we're going to put in pickup. And then in curly brackets, I'm going to put in item close curly brackets.
So I think
When you hit enter, you'll see the parameter appear, named as you've named it here, as a pin.
uh-huh.
And that's simply going to be the name there.
Okay, pick up item because it's in brackets. So when you look at the item, it's going to come up with the text name that says to pick up that individual item. That's cool. That's very fascinating. We're going to compile and save for a quick second here, but
Save. So if I go up to this test item here,
pick up
you
apple.
can see there.
That's so fucking dope. Does it work for me too? Once again, my camera angle is a little bit different. I have to look at my character at it. Pick up apple. Oh. I think the range is a little extreme, huh? My character can pick up the apple from way over here, like infinitely. What about way over here? Still, he can pick it up. That's funny. Okay.
And top left, it's saying pick up apple. Up apple. Pick up apple. There we go. We can now determine what item is what. And in the next episode, we're going to go through how to pick them up. May allow them to be destroyed from the world they're in. Now, this will also be replicated via multiplayer, so we get to cover that too at the same time. You can watch that next episode right now over on patreon.com/RyanLady and catch all my videos early from just $1 a month. Massive thank you to all my patrons and YouTube members for their continued support. And if you're watching this and you're not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Dynamically call different tables and break the info from there. The reason being is I want a DT for a weapon. Don't get muddled. I feel like I understand it, but I'm having a hard time. A separate inventory either. The inventory system is driving me nuts. With one for now, you can use the switch on name, and there's other complicated things involved. However, I did. You would simply make a new data table for equipment and use the exact same item ID that you use in your base inventory DT. From there, you can get data table for whichever. Without cramming them all into one, to make the hotbar a separate inventory as well, you have to make a separate component with an array and all the same logic as your inventory system with more checks and balances to make sure items are duplicated from slot to slot. So trying to read proper there. It's the row name because it doesn't show for me on 5.3 before I go further. It would be nice to know if this still works. Two variables, the data that you make right now. Not just data, what you should give to edit row names in your item data tables. It's nice too, but there's an issue with what you're teaching. The inventory can only ever have one stack of something because map keys are unique, and if you're using an item name as a key, you can never have two of it. So once you reach the stack size of an item in the inventory, that is, it won't be able to have another stack of that type. An alternative would be to have a struct with only relevant inventory item info, the data table name, quantity for my good. So each item, even if it's the same type, can have a unique ID. You can then make an array of the item data struct and can remove and swap items using picking up items as the client and not the server. It's replication to use run on server. So if it's a client, it will ask the server to do the things for it. There's no safe way to do it. And it will replicate to the clients. The only things clients should do for themselves is handle their own UI and other client-only visual stuff. Okay. So my problem, I think with what's kind of happening with everything that I've been kind of learning, right, is that this is a little too far away. So I need to shorten its distance. Radius. Interact range. Okay, so there's already an interact range. Well, it's infinite. Okay. That's crazy far away. Well, that's still crazy fucking far away. I don't under. I don't understand. Why is the range? Why is the range so extreme? Oh, that's way better. Only thing is, I want it to be like the camera looking at it, not the player looking at it. Well, for now, I think it works.
Hello and welcome back to our inventory system series. Previously, we've been working on our interaction system and making our items available for us. In this episode, we'll go through the process of actually interacting with these items to make them disappear from the world. And more so, we'll make them replicate this in multiplayer setting as well. So we're going to do it at the same time during its development. Let's begin. Okay, so we're now going to work on adding items to inventory. So the first thing I like to work on when I'm doing this is just make it so I can interact with the item and make it disappear. Not necessarily add it to my inventory straight away, just make it disappear. And in multiplayer sense, make it disappear from every client's point of view. So what we're doing here is we're going to go over to our inventory component itself. And let's go to event graph. We've got our tick event doing this. Now I need to set up our interact input. So I'm going to go over to my input settings in my project settings. So in project settings, scroll down, you'll find input settings, and it will go to action mappings here.
Okay, so I think I'm going to stop. I'm actually processing a lot of information, guys. Hold on. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. It's brutal. It's brutal. Okay. Uh, I'm, I'm fizzing. I'm fizzling. My mind is like, it's like I'm almost not comprehending things anymore. I just caught myself spacing out as he was moving, so we're gonna take a break. I'll keep doing this tomorrow. Okay. Peace.